What's up, guys? And first off, Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope that you enjoyed your holidays, and I hope you guys had fun with your families and stuff like that. Um, so I know I haven't been playing a whole, or well, I haven't been doing a whole lot of PoE content on my channel lately because I've been really into Neverwinter. I still have been playing PoE quite a bit. So I just wanted to go over a build that I was working on and have been playing recently. So this is my 3.1 Wander, but instead of running like the typical ascendancies of like a Scion or using the Deadeye ascendancy, I'm going with the Raider. So I'm going a Wander Raider. Um, I've been having pretty good RNG with it, so I've gotten a really nice 89% physical damage wand right now set up for it, but yeah, let's go into the tree and show you guys what I'm working with and everything that I have set up currently. So, for Wander, what I really need for this build was to be able to grab as much wand damage and then as much elemental damage as I could, and I also wanted to grab some physical damage for my conversions and such. Um, I'm relying kind of heavily on life and a lot of movement speed and a lot of dodge chance. So I don't have quite as much. I don't have quite as much of as high as of a health pool as I could. However, I feel like it's okay because as a wander, you don't particularly get close to things. You just kind of full map clear. So having a huge hit pool is not as bad as it could be. Also, for bossing, I will have decoy totem in this build, so it shouldn't be an issue to have the hit pool I have. Um, the only other issue I really have with this build is that I didn't have a huge amount of room for gem sockets. And in a league that seems to be heavily focused around different gem sockets, it's a little bit downsized for that, but I'm okay with it because, you know, I still am running a Stygian Vise belt in this build, so I still have the elemental damage and, or I still have the extra jewel socket on my belt for that. So the way this build is made is it's focused on, a lot of Wander builds are typically focused on lightning damage. Mine is entirely focused on cold damage. So all of my physical damage was converted to cold damage, and then I have several items, and I use my unique items, one for conversion and two for increases in cold damage, and then additional cold damage to my abilities as well, mainly my attacks. And then I also focus on boosting cold damage in my tree with Forces of Nature, Winter Spirit, Flash Freeze, Fangs of Frost to really boost cold damage, and then I'm also grabbing Trickery for increased elemental damage and stuff and Elemental Focus for increased elemental damage. So I'm grabbing a nice amount of elemental damage for cold damage and stuff like that. And then I'm grabbing both the Elder Power as well as the Prism Weave. So I'm getting increased elemental damage from wands over here, and then I'm also grabbing the increased physical damage from my wands, so all my increased damage will be converted over to my elemental damage, and then I'll have more of that. I'm also grabbing a wand slinger, so I just get the more physical damage there. Instead of working with power nodes or something and working heavy crit, I actually work with frenzy nodes and then work into a lot of attack speed and such like that. Instead of running, so my ascendancy over here is going to be Way of the Poacher and Avatar of the Slaughter, as well as Quick Infusion and Avatar of Veil. Avatar of Veil gives me the increased elemental damage. It also gives me increased movement, as well as a lot of dodge spell chance and phasing. So I'm moving to elemental elements such as shock and ignite and stuff like that while I'm phased. I'll have phasing on anytime I'm killing, so I should be moving around really quickly through maps. This should be really good clear for that. And then I have the increased frenzy charges, so a lot faster attack speed and a lot of frenzy charges based on just not even just kills. I'll also have it based on because I'll be using frostbite, so I'll be able to get frenzy charges from a couple of different ways to be able to really augment my damage. And then the rest of the tree was really just filling out stats, health, some elemental res, and stuff like that. So that's kind of how the tree ended up playing out. Um, this is what the tree looks like. I have it all specced out as far as where I want to go in game. I'm also oh yeah, this is the other unique feature of my builds, that I'm running a dual curse setup. My dual curse setup is frostbites and projectile weakness. So that'll be a curse on hit with my Herald of Ice. So this is my whole tree. It's set up very well as far as I'm concerned. I have everything I want, and everything is branched out pretty nicely. So yeah, I'm very comfortable with the way this build ended up getting set up. But yeah, this is how my tree looks and everything involved with that. Heading into my skills, so what I'm running is Kinetic Blast, Elemental Damage with attacks. I run Ice Bite, and then I'm running Volley instead of typically you'll use GMP or LMP. So instead I'm running Volley because I just wanted to test out the Volley skill. I'm actually liking the way it looks now. So basically, whereas GMP will send out multiple projectiles off of your Kinetic Blast, Volley actually sends out 3 Kinetic Blasts. So it's a lot, it's basically the same effect, but it's a little bit, I have a little bit more control over it, I can say it like that, because it's 3 separate Kinetic Blasts that go out, and then they split off, and then they do damage. So it's a little bit different on the look, but I like it. So I've stuck with that. And that's my setup. I run with my gloves. I'm running Barrage, Elemental Damage attacks, Ice Bite, Elemental Focus, GMP, and then added cold damage. I know this isn't really focused on it's not heavily focused on gaining frenzy charges off of my Ice Bite because of Elemental Focus, but I should already have I already have a set way of gaining frenzy charges, so it's not an issue. And then my Ice Bite also gives me the added cold damage and such, so it's very well set up that way. It gives a lot of damage. This runs on my body armor, and that's my 6th link. On my boots, I'm running Decoy Totem, cast when damage taken, Immortal Call, and Ice Nova. Ice Nova is not necessary, but I like it because it's just an extra little frost thing basically. So when I get hit, if I get hit, I should say, I'll have a Ice Nova go out around me. And then cast when damage taken, I'll pop out a Decoy Totem and then a Mortal Call, so I'll get reduced physical damage. So basically the idea is that if I take damage, a Decoy Totem will automatically spawn. So then the bosses or whatever hit me's attention will be drawn to the Decoy Totem, and I can focus on continuing attacking and repositioning without having to manually cast Decoy Totem. The levels are all correct here, so 10, 1, 3, 8. That's all correct setup, as well as allowing my cast when damage taken to always cast these abilities. This is all correct as far as the levels, so that's what you would need. And then I'll just be running Flame Dash with faster casting. I will have an open weapon socket, so I'm debating on whether or not I want to attach Arcane Surge to this. I don't really need to, but it would be nice mana regen. But it's not really hugely necessary in my build, so I don't fully intend on using it. And then, as I said before, my dual curse setup, which would be Herald of Ice, Curse on Hit, Projectile Weakness, and Frostbite. Frostbite increases my cold damage and my chance to freeze, and then Projectile Weakness increases, just projectile damage. So that's my 4-link curse on hit setup. And then I'll be running on my shield. I'll be running a Hatred, Val Haste, and a Blood Rage. So I need to pick up a Val Haste. They usually run about 1 chaos typically, so it's not too much expensive. That should be pretty easy for me to grab. And then Hatred and Blood Rage. Blood Rage I probably won't activate unless I'm dealing with bossing, but it's there, it's useful. And then I'm running a Lightning Golem, which I just put into my ring because I'm going to be running a Mute Wind ring. So heading into the recommended uniques for this build, I'm running a Cauldron Halt for the added physical damage to extra cold damage, as well as some block chance, and then reflecting cold damage. It also gives me +5 to maximum cold resist, so that's really nice to have. It's really easy to socket this, 3 greens, because you're socketing your hatred, blood rage, and vile haste into that. So very easy to get socketed and set up, since it's an invasion buckler. So very easy to get, very cheap to get. I think I spent 1 alch on this on mine, which is max physical damage roll, which I think was 15%. So very easy to get. Alpha Sinner's Howl. I haven't picked mine up yet because I'm still loving my character, but I will be getting this. This gives me +2 to level of socketed aura gems, so that'll boost my hatred and stuff like that. It also gives me the inability to be frozen, which I really like, and it also gives me reduced mana reserve, so I have a little bit more mana overall to be able to work with when I'm casting and such like that. I'm gonna be running a higher Zodiac Leather. You can probably pick it up for another alch. Most of these builds is alchs. Pretty much all of my items are alchs, to be honest. The only thing you might have to spend chaos on if you really want good strength roll on it is karate charge. Or, well, yeah, our karate charge itself, if you just outright want to buy this, will cost you a couple chaos. However, if you want to get the ward is just an alch, and then you can look for the prophecy to kill the gemlings and be able to kill, and they'd be able to transform it into a karate jade. Yeah, and then we're running our Hyres Zodiac Leather. This gives us increased cold damage to our attacks, so increased cold damage onto our both barrage as well as our kinetic blast. It gives us just extra dodge chance for both spells and attacks, so that's really nice. And then we're running Hymn Sorrows. This gives us our physical to cold conversion. Well, half of it, I should say, with the what's the name of this tree here? Winter Spirit, giving us the other portion of that conversion. So, Sorrows, you can get it really early. It only cost me an alch. It also gives cold damage to spells and attacks, as well as the conversion, and then it's a huge amount of cold rest. So, very easy to get, and you get to pretty much level with it. The other issue is you don't get kinetic blast as a ranger, so you have to wait until you're about level 30 before you can actually switch over, which is fine because you really don't have the majority of the gems you need anyways. And leveling with volley, and then just, you know, I used ice shot, volley, mirage archer was my leveling setup until I got to Act 3, and now I've switched over to my actual kinetic blast wander setup. So that's everything I would need for that is all there and all set up and ready to go. So yeah, that's how I have that set up. And then I have a Mute Wind seal unset ring. So the reason I run Mute Wind is for the increased attack speed, as well as the extra physical damage to my attacks, and I also wanted the increased dodge chance. I do get onslaught for summoning my golems, but it's not really going to be like used to heavily summon and gain onslaught, but you know, it's nice for the extra attack speed because that increases your damage. And this, I do have a physical rustic stash here for belt, but I'm actually going to be running one of the new belts, which isn't in Path of Building, so it's just here. I wish they would change that. Hopefully they'll change it and add Stygian Vice, but until then, I just set up a rustic stash because, you know, it's a typical physical damage stash. Yeah, that's how my build works out. If you guys want to see some damage numbers, here's the damage numbers and my full conversion over here. That's everything involved for kinetic blast. And then if you want to see barrage, there's my barrage damage. That's 1 projectile, and then max projectiles. So it looks like, so I should have good boss damage with very low cost. So this is my wander build, and this is the wander build I've been leveling. When I hit max level, I'll recap this build and create a full guide for it, but until then, or well, not max level, but when I hit maps and stuff like that, I'll come out and show you guys this build again and show you guys the how it all looks, how it all works together, and show you guys what it looks like in Path of Exile. But for now, here's what it looks like in Stars the Tree. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys give me your thoughts and views when it comes to this build, and anything you would change or anything you would run, and maybe even send me some of your guys wanted to build yourselves and what builds you guys are playing with. as far as this league's concerned. 3.1 has been really, really fun. Abyss League has been fun. Some of the bosses have been rippy, but I've been enjoying it. So I'll catch you guys all later.
Ronnie J.